talked to you earlier about a number about the amount of information that is that's produced every couple of days. 5 quintillion bytes. Don't ask me what a quintillion is because I don't actually know. But the point is information overload, and most of it is from the internet. In fact, most of it is from social media. Now, we've got somebody with us who can tell us a little bit about this. Let me just back up. Shelly Palmer, let me introduce Shelly Palmer to you. You probably know him. There's the number. Hold on. Don't take Shelly. Look at that number on the wall over there. That's 5 quintillion bytes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 groups of zeros. Okay, so that's a lot of bytes. That's all the information from the beginning of time till very recently. You know, we're duplicating that every couple of days, Shelly. This is a number that Google put out the other day. What's going on? What is all this information? Is it really new information, or are we just all copying each other's stuff?
Hey, Allie, how are you? That is a big number, isn't it?
That's huge. I don't even know. I can't even tell you how many multiples that is of something. But that is apparently all the information we're creating.
Exabytes. You know what we are? The body of knowledge of mankind is doubling about every year now, and some of the information that they were talking about with the Google release is in fact copied information, just ones and zeros. And remember, Allie, information is not knowledge. Knowledge is knowledge. How do we make knowledge? We contextualize it, we editorialize it, there are some facts involved. Just bits of information are not knowledge, but we are creating a frighteningly large amount of information. Frighteningly large, every day.
Are there implications to this? I mean, does it matter that we are? Is it dangerous? Are we going to run out of place to store it all? What do you mean?
Okay, we're not going to run out of places to store it all because storage is relatively cheap. But what we are finding is that we have an attention deficit going on. There's only a finite amount of time you have each day to spend doing anything, and you just run out of time. So what is becoming more and more important in our world is filters. And, you know, CNN does a nice job of filtering the news, and so people can trust what you're telling them. That's a filter. Well, we all put all kinds of filters on the news that we consume or on the information that we consume, and that gives it context and it makes it valuable to us. So the most important thing in the information age now is filtering, and some people have a different word for it. It's called curation.
Curation, like a museum, deciding what you get to see, or at least creating some environment in which it's cataloged and dealt with. Here's I don't know if this is a related issue with all the extra information that's out there. There seems to have been a remarkable increase in malware. Is it malware? Malware? What do you call it? With bad stuff that shows up on your computer.
Bad stuff. Malware, it's a catch-all phrase for bad things like computer viruses. The most recent data is that McAfee, the virus protection people, said that there had been a gigantic uptick in the second quarter of malware or viruses out on the internet, from about 4 million files free-floating to about 6 million. And they attributed this to the FIFA World Cup, where people were being tricked into clicking on things that would allow them to put viruses onto their computers. Here's some really just important safety tips. First thing, get some decent virus protection from a name brand company and use it, and you can take off all the unnamed brand stuff. 2, don't share jump drives or those little USB drives with anybody you don't know. Try really not to share them with anybody. In fact, be very careful whose camera SD card you take and put in your computer, because that's another way that these kinds of things travel. And then also, and I think it's an old thing, but we got to keep saying it and keep saying it and keep saying it, don't click on something from someone you don't know. You are going to get into trouble every time.
Let me ask you about this. Talking about clicking on things, if you use Firefox, you can. They've set up something where there's an alarm that warns you if Google is collecting information that you're doing. Tell me how this looks like. Sounds like a spying thing. Google, we've talked to them, by the way. They said it's not spying. They're collecting information. It's kind of how the internet works.
Well, first of all, Google is always collecting information. They store every search that you do. It's anonymized, but it's every search that you do. They pretty much know every key click. You want Google not to spy on you, make sure you go into Google history and turn it all off. If you want to know what Google's doing, forget the Firefox alarm. That's actually a little bit of a parlor trick. You can go to Google Analytics and look at the kind of information that Google cares about. What they care about is your value to an advertiser, to someone who's going to have an AdWord or an AdSense ad that you might click on, and they want to deliver the right audience to that ad and the right ad to that audience. So if that disturbs you, or if you feel like you're being abused in some way, you have a lot of redress. Google will help you protect yourself. Is Google spying on you? Allie, let's be clear about this. They're spying on Everybody.
Let me play the alarm.
Is it really spying?
Let's listen to that alarm for a second. That's pretty serious. We did ask Google about it, and they said what you said, but this is funny what Google told us. We'd like to think that there are less ear-splitting ways of being transparent with users. That's why we've created tools like Google Dashboard, which show users what information they share with us and provides direct links to control their personal settings and opt out for Google Analytics. I guess to my point, to that point, Shelly, that's whether it's spying or not. You said it's anonymized. Do I care if somebody's collecting anonymized information about my habits?
A lot of people do care, and I think this is one of those areas, Allie, that people just sensationalize. Let's face it, if you know you're being watched, you're going to act differently than if you don't know you're being watched. So there's a whole problem with that, right? You're not going to be watching, Cinemax at night at 2:30 in the morning. You know who you are, you know what's on. If you knew that your set-top box was going to record what you were watching, every key click that you made, you'd probably be watching National Geographic or History Channel or CNN or something else. You know, it's sort of like, are you at choir practice or are you at the bowling alley? I mean, that's the question we're asking here. And so people get upset about this. But guess what? Nobody cares. I mean, don't be so arrogant. Nobody cares what you personally are doing. What they care about is what the population of people like you are doing.
The trend is.
And they're trying to serve you ads. Exactly. And they're also trying to serve you ads that are very relevant to you.
Right. All right, Shelly, good to see you. Thanks for breaking it all down for us. I'm going to see you next week in New York on your show.
I'm looking forward to that, Allie. It's always great to be here. Thanks.
All right, Shelly Palmer in New York.